Sir. I call the honourable member Mary Ann Street.
Thank you very much. Mr. Chair. I rise to speak to this bill in the name of Te Ororoa Flavel, and I commend Te Ororoa for his original intention on this bill. Without doubt, it was a heartfelt intention. He has seen at close hand just what kind of damage gambling does to families, particularly those in areas of greater deprivation, whose only hope, it seems, particularly with this government's employment policies or lack of them, their only hope of bettering their lives is to play the pokies. Mr. Chairman, so I commend Te Ororoa for bringing the bill before the House, but I'm sad to see it in the state that it now is. As my colleague Ian Lees-Galloway just said, the whole thing has been so emasculated. It is a wonder that Te Ororoa Flavel has not chosen to withdraw the bill rather than have something be presented which is at high risk of causing greater harm than less harm. And that is contrary to what I know Mr. Flavel's intentions were in the first instance. Mr. Chairman, I want to speak to three SOPs in particular, and they're all SOPs that I'm going to oppose. I want to demonstrate that we on this side of the House clearly are able to make up our own minds about these issues, because gambling has always been a conscience issue. It's just not today, not with this government. And so we are seeing people who would normally vote otherwise, such as Jonathan Young or Sam Lotoainga, having to vote in ways that I think probably are contrary to their consciences, and they have to explain that to their electorates. Mr. Chairman, that is a tragedy, really, because these men are compromising principles they hold dear. They may not be the same principles as mine, but I think they are principles that these men hold dear, and therefore they have a separate and independent opinion on this issue, which they are not allowed to express on this occasion. Mr. Chairman, I want to say that in response to a point that Sam Lotoainga raised earlier, he says that the regulations allow flexibility for the law. I'm not sure that he understands that that is actually a mistake for legislation. If legislation provides for regulations that may be used to thwart or subvert the original intention of the primary legislation, that is not good lawmaking. So for that member to say here is a very flexible law, or the regulations allow it to be flexible, I'm sorry, he's going to run foul of the Regulations Review Committee if regulations are promulgated that undermine the primary purpose of the legislation. And so flexible law, Mr. Lotoainga, is not what we do here. We try to get the law right, so that it cannot be subverted by a process that does not get parliamentary scrutiny later on. Mr. Chair, I just want to say to SOP 292 in the name of Trevor Mallard, I absolutely support that, because that would ensure that no Class 4 venue licence may be transferred to an area that has higher deprivation than the old venue, and that goes to the point I made earlier about areas of deprivation and the hope that these ghastly machines give people, the false hope that these ghastly machines give people. I would also like to support SOP 293 in the name of Ian Lees-Galloway, because it is a moderate, it is a thoughtful amendment, and so is 294 in the name of Ruth Dyson. But then it came to 295 SOP in the name of Rajan Prasad. And I drew the line because we were seeing these amendments then scale back the amount that a corporate society must apply of net proceeds from Class 4 gambling two societies or for the purposes located in the same territorial authority district or an adjacent one. Okay.
I call the Honourable Member Denise Roach.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'm going to spend this call talking about my supplementary order